Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, if you're the kind of person who's obsessed with optimizing your life, really figuring out how things work under the hood, you are in the absolute right place today. Because we're going to be tearing down a massive, frankly kind of dark lie we've all been spoon-fed about money, wealth, and discipline. You know that exact feeling, right? You make this strict, beautifully color-coded budget on Sunday night, only to completely blow the whole shebang by Wednesday on takeout and random stuff you don't actually need. It feels like this massive personal failure. It carries a ton of guilt, but today, we're going to learn why it's actually not your fault at all. We're diving deep into the biological blueprint that's secretly driving those decisions. Okay, let's dive into this with a question that, it might sting just a little bit, but it's absolutely crucial. Why are you still broke? Or, hey, even if you aren't completely broke, why is it so incredibly hard to just consistently build wealth month after month without feeling like you're fighting a literal war inside your own head? Now, if you're struggling with this, society has totally conditioned you to believe that it's just a discipline problem, that you just lack willpower. But neuroscientists have uncovered a biological truth that completely shatters this toxic willpower myth once and for all. See, society feeds us this really comforting lie that building wealth is just a matter of willpower. Just try harder, just be more disciplined. But neuroscience points to a much darker truth. It all comes down to ancient survival wiring. Truth is, your brain is actually not trying to make you rich. Honestly, it's not even trying to make you happy. It is strictly programmed to do one thing, and one thing only. And that's to keep you safe and alive right now, in this exact microscopic moment. And in our highly complex modern world, that ancient survival wiring is the exact mechanism keeping you from getting ahead financially. You are literally fighting millions of years of evolution every single time you open your banking app. Part 1, the broke brain illusion. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it completely reframes our relationship with money. To really understand this illusion, we gotta rewind the clock. 2 million years ago, our evolutionary programming was forged in pure, unforgiving scarcity. Throughout the hunter-gatherer era, which, by the way, accounts for a massive 99% of human history, hoarding resources for 5 years in the future was basically a death sentence. Just think about it. If our ancestors stumbled upon a massive surplus of food, they had to gorge on it immediately. If they didn't, the meat would spoil, or a predator would steal it, or a rival tribe would just come along and snatch it. Saving things was incredibly dangerous. It's only in this tiny, microscopic fraction of our history, literally just a blink of an eye, that we have modern banking and this totally bizarre concept of saving for a retirement decades away. Our brains simply haven't caught up to Wall Street yet. So every single time you try to stash some money away, your biology is literally screaming at you, consume your resources now, or you might die tomorrow. You aren't just making a basic financial decision when you choose between investing and buying that thing you want right now. No, you are actively fighting 2 million years of deeply ingrained evolutionary programming. Your primitive brain doesn't understand compound interest. It looks at modern money and sees ancient survival resources. It sees cash as calories. And leaving those calories just sitting in an account where you can't eat them right this second, that triggers a deep biological panic. Which brings us to part 2, the temporal discounting glitch. So this brings us to a fascinating phenomenon that scientists call temporal discounting. And it's exactly what it sounds like, a literal neurological glitch where the human brain completely fails to connect with its future self. It's this massive disconnect in our basic wiring that proves exactly why we struggle so much with long-term planning. To prove this glitch is a real physical thing, researchers actually put people into functional MRI machines. They scanned their brains in real time to see exactly what happens when they think about time and identity. And brace yourself, because the results of these scans are absolutely going to change how you view yourself. Here's what happened. When they asked these folks to think about themselves in the present moment, what they want to eat today, what they want to buy right now, a very specific, highly active region of the brain just lit up like a Christmas tree. But here's the crazy part. When the researchers asked those exact same people to think about their future selves, like the version of them 10 years from now, kicking back in retirement, that exact same brain region went completely dark. It just shut down. Zero activity, no connection, nothing at all. So the crucial point is that the implications here are just staggering. On a totally neurological level, your brain views the future you as a complete stranger. Literally, the area of the brain you use to think about some random stranger you pass on the street is the exact same area that lights up when you try to think about yourself in the future. Now think about what that really means for your bank account. When you try to save 20% of your paycheck, it feels physically painful because your primitive brain genuinely feels like you are taking your hard-earned survival resources and just handing them over to someone you don't even know. No wonder it feels so awful to budget. Your brain is aggressively sabotaging your wealth just to protect your immediate survival.
All right, part 3, hacking your reward system. How do we actually fix this?
Well, to override your biology, you need a completely new operating system. Step 1, you've got to ditch the raw willpower. You absolutely cannot beat millions of years of evolution with sheer effort alone. You will lose every single time, because decision fatigue will eventually just break you down. Step 2, trick the brain's reward system. You basically have to learn to speak its primitive language fluently. And step 3, turn wealth building into an automated background process. Think about it. If your primitive brain doesn't even realize the saving is happening, it can't panic and try to stop you, right? Let's break down 2 brilliant hacks to completely bypass that primitive programming. Hack number 1 is what we call the invisible funnel. Remember, if money is just sitting there in your checking account, your brain views it as available calories ready to be consumed immediately. So you must set up a system where your investment money is routed to a separate, hard-to-reach account the exact second your paycheck hits. If you hide those available calories before your brain even registers they're there, you completely avoid triggering that scarcity alarm. It's out of sight, out of mind, and out of biological danger. Now, hack number 2 is to hijack the dopamine. Right now, your brain gets a massive hit of dopamine from clicking buy now on some late-night shopping spree. You need to reverse that trigger. Gamify your savings. Treat it like a high score in a video game. Track your net worth on a highly visual chart so that every single time that line goes up, your brain gets that same massive rush. But this time, it's for accumulating resources rather than destroying them. So why does all this science actually matter to you? Because you have to stop letting a primitive brain run your modern bank account. It's time to take control and automate your safety. Understanding this biological glitch is the fundamental key to your financial freedom. When you finally realize that struggling to save isn't some personal failing or a lack of moral character, but rather a massive evolutionary hurdle, you can finally let go of the guilt. You can just set up those automated systems that bypass your ancient programming entirely and let them do all the heavy lifting for you.
I want to leave you with this thought. Poverty is an evolutionary default. Wealth is a psychological rebellion. Let that sink in for a second. Building wealth isn't natural. It is a literal rebellion against your own biology. It is time to stop feeling guilty, automate your safety, and hack your way to financial freedom. So here's my question for you. What is the very first financial rebellion you're going to automate today?